Expand your knowledge. The Vikings were a group of people from Norway, Sweden, and Denmark who lived during the Viking Age. From the late 8th century to the mid-11th century. They were skilled sailors and navigators, exploring and settling in many parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. While the Vikings are often portrayed as fierce raiders and warriors, they were also skilled craftsmen, traders, farmers, and metalworkers. In this list, we've gathered some interesting facts about the Vikings that shed light on their complex society, mythology, and legacy. Vikings were skilled sailors and navigators. They built longships that allowed them to travel long distances and raid other lands. The Viking Age lasted from the late 8th century to the mid-11th century. During this time, Vikings from Norway, Sweden, and Denmark explored and settled in many parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. Vikings were not just warriors and raiders. They were also skilled craftsmen, farmers, and traders. The Vikings had a complex mythology with gods and goddesses like Odin, Thor, and Freya. The word Viking comes from the Old Norse word Vikingur, which means pirate or raider. The Vikings had a system of law called the Thing. The Thing was a meeting where disputes were settled and laws were made. The Viking society was divided into classes: the Jarls, nobles, carls, freemen, and thralls, slaves. The Vikings had a unique writing system called the runes. They used runes to write messages on stones, bones, and other objects. The Viking helmet with horns is a popular myth. In reality, Viking helmets did not have horns. The Vikings were skilled traders and established trade routes throughout Europe, Asia, and North America. They traded goods like furs, timber, and slaves. The Vikings believed in an afterlife that was similar to their current life, with feasting and fighting. They believed that warriors who died in battle would go to Valhalla, a great hall ruled by Odin. The Viking women had more rights and freedom than many other women of their time. They could inherit property and divorce their husbands. The Vikings were skilled metalworkers and created intricate jewelry, weapons, and tools. The Vikings were known for their long, blonde hair. They used a special soap made from lye and ashes to bleach their hair. The Vikings were some of the first people to use skis. They used skis for hunting and traveling through the snowy terrain of Scandinavia. The Vikings were also known for their elaborate burial customs. They would bury their dead with grave goods like weapons, jewelry, and even animals. The Vikings were feared by many, but they also faced their own share of fears. They believed in creatures like trolls and elves and were superstitious about certain numbers and animals. The Vikings were the first Europeans to discover North America. They established a settlement called Vinland in modern-day Newfoundland, Canada, around the year 1000. The Vikings had a rich oral tradition and passed down stories and myths through generations. Some of these stories were eventually written down in the form of sagas. The Vikings influenced many aspects of modern culture, from language and literature to architecture and art. The Vikings were also skilled farmers and fishermen. They developed advanced agricultural techniques, such as crop rotation and the use of manure as fertilizer. The Vikings believed in the power of runes, which they inscribed on objects to bring good luck or ward off evil spirits. The Vikings had a unique calendar that divided the year into 12 lunar months, with an extra month added every few years to keep the calendar in sync with the seasons. The Vikings had a complex social structure, with the king at the top and the lowest classes consisting of slaves and thralls. The Vikings were not just raiders, but also traders who established settlements and trading posts throughout Europe and Asia. The Vikings had a significant impact on the history and culture of Europe and beyond. From their advanced sailing technology and agricultural techniques to their complex social structure and mythology, the Vikings left a lasting legacy that is still felt today. Thanks for watching.